take it, we down. I won't take it, we down.
This call is from a federal prison.
What's up? It's your boy Stevie83 and we're back with another react. You know what I'm saying? Today we're reacting to Durk sent a shocking message from court. To the court, from court, in court. We don't know, but we're about to find out. These people crazy.
Lil Durk has found a way to speak despite being locked up, using his music to send a message.
Better find out a way to do something.
With legal battles looming and his future uncertain, this latest move could shift everything. But what is he really saying? Is this a hint at what's next, a warning to his enemies, or a move to control the narrative? Let's find out. Lil Durk's message.
Free Durk.
Lil Durk's latest album, Deep Thoughts,
Free
arrives
Durk.
under extraordinary circumstances. Released on March 28, 2025, while the Chicago rapper sits in a Los Angeles jail cell awaiting trial for federal murder for hire charges, the project serves as both a creative lifeline and a strategic
LA.
Facing allegations of orchestrating the 2022 killing of rival rapper Quando Rondo in a separate gang-related hit in Chicago. Durk's team crafted the 17-track album entirely through...
Hold up, my thing is, these boys in the street, right? You know how Bond and them, they all in the streets, right? They trying to take this rival gang out, trying to take that rival gang out, blah, blah. What were they about to bring the streets to the rap industry and start taking out they rap ops? That's crazy work.
Documented in a gritty mini-film, splicing studio sessions with news clips of his arrest, shows producers holding phones to studio monitors as Durk records verses via monitored prison calls. This guerrilla-style recording method forced a minimalist approach. No lush vocal layering or experimental production, just raw vocals over beats approved remotely.
This call is from a federal prison.
We in here, we got
Hello,
yeah,
y'all the lab.
we in the studio, we in this motherfucker getting to it, boy. We gonna roll out, got everything.
But beneath the surface of melodic trap anthems and collaborations,
I'ma keep on sipping,
lies a deeper narrative, a carefully curated message meant to sustain his legacy, placate the streets, and perhaps even sway public opinion ahead of his October 2024 trial. Deep Thoughts is unmistakably shaped by the threat of life imprisonment. Lyrics undergo heavy self-censorship,
2025 trial.
lines scrubbed and
It was
beat to avoid
2025.
courtroom ammunition. On 1,000 times, a leaked version's explicit threat, "I'ma kill him and I shoot him dead for any child of mine," is conspicuously absent. Similarly, Vanish Mode censors words like gun and three, a baffling choice that fans speculate stems from legal paranoia rather than moral policing. People dissected the album, noting this sanitization, with some criticizing the project as watered down compared to past raw confessional tracks like 7,220's Pellicoat or The Voice's Head Tap. Others, however, see the restraint as necessary, pointing out that rapping about bodies isn't exactly an option when the feds are listening. This tension between
I don't know when they started that goofy shit.
The album. Tracks like Monitoring Me nod to surveillance with lines about tapped phones and paranoia, while Opportunist positions Durk as a hardened survivor navigating betrayal. Yet these moments feel measured, avoiding specifics that could implicate him. The album's features are...
I ain't gonna lie, that freestyle he just showing him sitting in that van, that shit went raw.
Jane Aiko's soulful hook on Can't Hide It softens Durk's image with themes of vulnerability, a clear contrast to the cold-blooded persona prosecutors allege. Even the AI-generated cover art, depicting a shadowy figure in a stylized cell, avoids real prison imagery, symbolizing Durk's attempt to control his narrative without exposing his reality. The album has split Durk's fan base. Some lament the absence of unfiltered street storytelling, craving the pain songs that once made him a drill music pioneer. Others question the shift, asking where the moment of truth energy is, referencing his 2021 track about his brother's murder. Some, however, praise Deep Thoughts as a mature evolution, highlighting introspective cuts like Notebook, No Hook, where Durk reflects on fatherhood and loss over minimalist piano loops. Leaks further complicated the rollout. Tracks like Discontinuing Walk Hard and references to a scrapped Sabrina feature fueled speculation about a more provocative original version. Fans noticed that the final product felt rushed, with abrupt edits and underdeveloped ideas suggesting last-minute legal vetting. Some pointed to the jarring bleeps and reworked verses as signs that lawyers had picked through it. Despite these flaws, loyalists argue the album's mere existence is a triumph, noting that he is fighting for his life while still delivering music and calling it a grind worth respecting. Every part of Deep Thoughts seems to serve two purposes. Songs about loyalty and betrayal, like Think You Glowed, speak to both the streets and the courtroom, casting Durk as a careful leader surrounded by snakes. Tracks like Alhamdulillah and Deep Depression focus on redemption and mental health, making him more relatable ahead of trial. Even the documentary scenes play a role, showing him as a devoted father, far from the kingpin prosecutor's pain and eyes. It's like a high-stakes game where every move matters. This balance
They need to take and stop doing that with these rap videos and stuff, because 95% of them rap videos, the 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 bangers ain't real, the money ain't real. You know, all that stuff is props. So I don't know why they can do that, why they could picture that, or why they could take what I say in the song into the courtroom, because most of that stuff you can find out in the streets. Most of them are close enough to the streets, like when somebody gets knocked down in the streets, there's enough people hanging around that scene that they know a little bit about what's going on. The police there doing the CSI stuff and all that. You find out a little information. And then that information beats the streets, man. Street talk is faster than anything, any cell phone, any of that. That shit hit the streets. Wow, 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 wow. It's run up in a couple seconds.
Balancing Act mirrors strategies seen in fellow rapper Young Thug's RICO case.
But I'm a convict anyway, so I don't
seems to follow this playbook, using the album to maintain streaming numbers and public.
I don't look at it the way a lot of people do.
With federal charges carrying life sentences, thoughts might be
free Durk
musical statement or the foundation of a comeback if acquitted. The album's legacy depends on October's trial. A conviction could make Deep Thoughts a tragic farewell, its warnings seen as foreshadowing. An acquittal might turn it into a story of resilience, with Durk shaping his struggles into legend. For now, he stands between two worlds, the streets that made him and the courtroom that could end him. While Deep Thoughts is making waves, the bigger question lingers. How did a murder for hire plot land him behind bars in the first place?
Exactly.
Indictment in murder for hire plot. In October 2024, Grammy-winning Chicago rapper Lil Durk was arrested in Broward County, Florida, on federal charges of conspiracy to commit murder for hire. The indictment accuses him of orchestrating a 2022 shooting in Los Angeles targeting rapper Quando Rondo, a rival linked to the 2020 death of Durk's protege, King Von. The attack, intended to kill
protege. He called him protege. What?
Who was riding in the same vehicle. Prosecutors allege that Durk funded the operation through his rap collective OTF.
He was Durk's protege.
Music opportunities to those willing to carry out the hit. The case stems from long-standing tensions between Durk's crew and Quando's associates.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Von
died in a shootout.
R.I.P. Von. Crazy story. You know what I mean? Von was nobody's protege.
Leading to the 2022 plot. The prosecution's case relies on three main pillars, starting with financial records. Investigators linked OTF-connected credit cards to travel, hotels, and used by the alleged.
They were his motherfucking
Flight
apprentices.
further revealed that the
There's Jam Snitch ass. You see him probably wearing a wire.
With expenses traced back to OTF accounts. The second pillar is digital evidence. Prosecutors have over 230 gigabytes of wiretapped calls, text messages, and social media, which they claim contain coded discussions about the plot. They argue that phrases like "smoke that boy" and "handle business" were references to the planned hit. A 2023 FBI affidavit from an unrelated Chicago case further alleges that Durk sought retaliation for his brother Dante Banks' 2021 murder, offering payments to target.
And another thing that gets me, why? He is a millionaire. Durk's a millionaire. Ain't no way around it. You can argue whatever people say, but he's got enough money. That car he was riding in should have been a BP, a bulletproof. That truck should have been a BP off the gate. If I'm Durk, I'm not riding in nothing that's not a BP. If it's not bulletproof, I ain't getting in it.
Suspected gangster.
I'm Durk.
This affidavit was used to deny Durk bail, portraying him as an ongoing threat. The third pillar is witness testimony. Federal documents mention unnamed cooperators, including one alleged shooter who turned informant to avoid a life sentence. These witnesses reportedly linked to the planning stages of the hit, though their credibility is yet
wow, bro.
Durk faces steep odds in a system where 99% of cases end in guilty pleas or convictions. Several factors work against him. Conspiracy charges mean he can
going against the feds. You know you hit.
Out the crime. Firearm enhancements add
99% conviction rate.
Involving possession of a machine gun during a violent crime. Prosecutors also argue he's a flight risk, pointing to 3 booked but unused flights to Dubai, Italy, and Switzerland after his associates were arrested. His trial, initially set for January 2025, was delayed to October 2025 after both sides agreed the case was unusually complex. The defense will likely argue that Durk's name was misused on credit cards without his direct involvement, and that coded language in messages is artistic expression, not criminal intent. Unsealed court documents reveal a second alleged murder-for-hire plot in Chicago from 2022, where Durk reportedly sought revenge for his brother's death. Though not charged in this case, prosecutors used it to argue Durk's pattern of violence and secure pretrial detention. The affidavit cites texts discussing payments for the murder of Stefan Mack, a suspected gangster disciple.
Somebody
This
off
parallel case
your
complicates
brother.
Durk's defense.
Somebody,
Jurors
you know what I mean? What you gonna do?
Criminal mindset. Durk's case fueled ongoing debates
Nah,
about
people ain't gonna
lyrics
do
being used
shit.
in court. Prosecutors plan to introduce his lyrics as evidence, a move criticized by experts like Eric Nielsen, who argues that artistic expression is being weaponized. Lines like "I'll pay $1 million just to see him dead" could be presented as confessions rather than creative storytelling.
Man, come on, man.
Durk's $150,000 donation to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's campaign faced backlash, with critics calling for its return. Meanwhile, suburbs like Broadview quickly revoked honorary keys to the city that had been awarded just weeks before his arrest.
He still got the plaque, though.
Decline in his once celebrated public image. The hip-hop community is split. Supporters argue the case is circumstantial, pointing to Durk's lack of a violent criminal record and the absence of a smoking gun tying him directly to the shooting. Others see the indictment as inevitable, given OTF's ties to Chicago's drill rap scene and Durk's lyrical focus on street life. His arrest has already sent ripples through the industry. Deep Thoughts features tracks like Prayers Up and Untouchable, which fans see as references to his legal troubles. Meanwhile, high-profile collaborators like Drake and J. Cole have stayed silent, distancing themselves from the controversy. Durk's fate depends on 3 possible scenarios. A plea deal is the most common outcome in federal
Drake could
cases,
get on knees, lay on knees.
20, 30
Drake,
years if he accepts
bitch ass
responsibility.
boy.
A trial conviction could mean life
Sorry.
in prison, given the severity of the charges and strict federal sentencing guidelines. An acquittal is highly unlikely. But
Highly
his legal team
unlikely.
could challenge the credibility of witnesses or weaknesses in
Right.
the digital
Done,
evidence to
boy.
create reasonable doubt. Durk's
Dang,
trial will
man.
decide more than just his freedom. If convicted, he becomes another
When
example of rap
convicted.
lyrics being used as
When
evidence. If
convicted.
acquitted, it
Because
fuels the
even if
argument
they
that the
do like they
system targets
did,
hip-hop artists. With the trial set for October 2025, the stakes couldn't be higher. While
can't
Durk
think of
is
his
now
name,
involved in a
man.
murder for hire plot, this isn't the first time his name
Young
has been tied to
Thug.
controversy.
Like they did Young Thug,
Past
man. He got
controversy.
convicted. Just because he
Lil
got
Durk's
15
career
years
is fraught with
probation don't
street
mean
life
he
and
didn't
rap
sign
music,
that paper
but both
saying
pulling him in
convicted.
different directions.
He had
From
to take
family
that
struggles
plea.
to long-standing feuds,
And that
his
plea would
story
say,
shows
we'll give
how
you
drill
15
music
years
sparked
probation,
loyalty and violence
but you gotta
doesn't
sign a
just stay
guilty
in the
plea.
lyrics. It plays out in real life. In 2023, Durk faced a bombshell allegation. His 10-year-old son and the child's mother were accused of shooting her boyfriend 6 times.
Durk's son is watching all this. He's trying to get the gun out of her hand. The gun off his hip drops, and the son picks up the gun and shoots him in the stomach.
Though no charges were filed, the incident went viral,
Wow.
with fans dissecting its ties to Durk's music. Social media exploded with jokes about how Durk might reference the event in a song, with users creating lyrics like, "Growing up in the trenches was tough, but it wasn't that bad. Had to sit down with my son. He shot his stepdad." Others quipped that the boy was baby threat, a nod to Chicago's violent youth culture. Critics called it a tragic example of how children in drill-centric environments normalize conflict, while supporters dismissed it as a private family matter. Either way, the incident became a symbol of how Durk's music, steeped in revenge and street codes, blurs with his personal life. Durk's rivalry with Chief Keef, Chicago's drill music pioneer, began in 2013. After Durk's arrest on gun charges, Keef allegedly refused to pay his $10,000 bail. Durk retaliated on Twitter, writing, "GBE targeting Keef's crew, and you'd be dead if it wasn't for 300, a reference to their shared OTF 300 gang ties. Though they briefly reconciled, tensions reignited in 2015 when Durk dissed Keef on the Chirac remix. "Just say me and Sosa beefing, but we both eating, only one keeping." Fans interpreted this as Durk mocking Keef's fading relevance. Keef retaliated by backing Tiger and Game's diss track against Durk, further fracturing their relationship. Behind the scenes, the feud exposed a divide. Durk's push for mainstream success versus Keef's loyalty to Chicago's unfiltered drill scene. People were quick to note how Durk avoided direct collaboration with Keef.
So
unlike
Keef's
peers
still
like Lil
just a
Reese,
drill
and
rapper. He
speculated
ain't
that
never
industry
evolved.
ambitions drove them apart, but that was not all. Durk's loyalty to his original block.
Let me know in the
Brand New
comments,
300
man.
became
Run
a
it up.
flashpoint. Members accused him of neglecting the neighborhood despite sending guns, cars, and money. The
I got
breaking
that
point
hoodie.
came after Durk's brother DT Thang was killed in 2014.
DT
More than
Thang.
300 expected retaliation, but Durk focused on his career and instead. The block labeled him a clout chaser, banning him from the neighborhood and releasing diss tracks. Durk fired back in songs like Jesse and OJ Raps, mocking former allies as snitching. People debated whether Durk's actions were justified. Some argued he outgrew street politics, while others called him a studio
Man,
gangster
that boy,
who
I would
exploited
have
his roots
beat.
for fame. The fallout highlighted a harsh truth. In drill culture, perceived disloyalty can erase years of support. King Von's 2020 death in a shootout, allegedly involving NBA YoungBoy's crew, ignited one of rap's most toxic feuds. Durk
And
and
GTA.
YoungBoy,
This is
once
for entertainment
collaborators,
purposes
turned enemies.
and
YoungBoy dropped
educational
"I Hate
purposes
YoungBoy,"
only.
taunting Durk's grief, while Durk's back in
Only.
hinted at revenge.
This is for
The feud
nothing else
escalated
but
on social media,
entertainment.
with YoungBoy mocking Durk's parenting and legal issues. Fans split. Some saw it as genuine hatred, others as a publicity stunt. Reddit. Threads dissected Durk's silence on retaliation, with critics asking, if he's really about that life, why hasn't he slid for Von? Supporters argued that Durk was prioritizing his career and family. The feud underscored how
Slide
personal loss
Von.
and industry
Slide
competition
Von.
divide in hip-hop,
Slide
where pain
for Von.
drives both art
Slide
and
for
profit.
Von.
Chicago rapper
I
600 Breezy
still
became a thorn in Durk's side, publicly criticizing him,
don't
questioning
think
his loyalty to King Von's legacy, and accusing him of capitalizing
he's
on
got
Von's death. Breezy suggested
get
that
back
if Von was still alive,
for
he would have
Von yet.
surpassed Durk in fame.
And you know what I'm saying, was living in a hellhole and came home and boom. He been King Von, but he became King Von to the world.
Yeah.
So he would have been bigger than Durk because he was moving too fast, too quick.
While Durk never directly responded, Breezy's repeated attacks painted him as someone trying to stir controversy for attention.
I must fall
Social
in the
media
shirt.
users noted how this feud mirrored drill's broader issue, artists using real trauma for clout. While some fans enjoyed the drama, others called it exploitative, arguing it perpetuates violence in already struggling communities. Durk's
Who you
music has
pointing at,
repeatedly
boy?
landed him in legal jeopardy. Lyrics about shootings and revenge were cited in court cases.
You gotta quit
blurring
singing
the
like that,
line
boy.
between art and confession.
You're Durk.
Critics
You're
argued
big
this
now.
validated
You sing
concerns
about
Drill's
love
while
and
supporters
how
called
I
it
broke my
racial bias,
heart.
citing how rock artists aren't punished for fictional lyrics. Fans and critics remain split on Durk's authenticity.
Yeah, well, they ain't
Online
in there
debates
saying
dissect
shit.
his every move. Supporters point to his early mixtapes like "Signed to the Streets" and the loss of his brother as proof of his roots. Detractors,
Brother
however,
talk
highlight
shit.
his industry connections, luxury lifestyle, and lack of direct retaliation for Von as signs he's not as street as he claims. Even his philanthropy, such as scholarships for Chicago youth, sparks debate. Some see it as genuine giving back, while others view it as an attempt to buy Lil Durk's career as a paradox. He's a father entangled in violence, a rapper accused of abandoning his block, and an artist whose lyrics haunt him legally. His feuds reveal rap's thin line between authenticity and performance. Meanwhile, legal battles over his music ask if artists can ever separate art from reality. While Durk has been embroiled in past controversies and remains entangled in new ones, the bigger question is what comes next for him amid the mounting legal and industry pressures. What's
I
next
don't
for
like
him? Lil Durk was once a titan of Chicago's drill scene and a chart-topping rap phenomenon.
Right.
Now faces a defining chapter in his life as he navigates a labyrinth of federal charges that threaten to dismantle his career, freedom, and legacy.
And they
Indicted
will.
for murder for hire in connection with the 2022 killing of Lil Pi. A botched retaliation plot targeting rapper Quando Rondo Durk's future hangs in the balance, with an October 2024 trial date looming.
And his trial date, like, the feds don't play. They don't sit around. The feds, when they sentence people, they don't say, here, you got 10 years. You got 20 years. They don't say it like that. The feds do their stuff in months. So if you got 10 years, you're sentenced to 120 months. 20 years, that's 240 months. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So they're going to hit him, and it's going, if they say the man, I'm not wishing that on nobody. I don't want nobody, not even my op, not my biggest ops, to be in jail.
The rapper's legal team, career trajectory, and cultural imprint are under unprecedented strain. At the core of Durk's predicament is the federal murder for hire charge, which carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment, or, in rare cases, the death penalty. Prosecutors allege Durk financed the Los Angeles shooting through his OTF collection, using credit cards linked to the group to fund travel, weapons, and accommodations for the alleged hitman. The prosecution's case
crazy.
on a trove
That's
of
a
evidence.
crazy
Over
story.
230 gigabytes of digital data, financial records, and
That's a lot of
testimony
data.
from cooperating witnesses. Federal conviction rates exceeding 90% tilt the odds against Durk, leaving his attorneys with limited avenues. One plausible route is negotiating a plea deal to avoid a life sentence.
I think they're gonna come with 50 just to start off with.
50 years.
Just to start off with. And if they blow that, they're gonna go up. And if they blow that, it's gonna be like life. It's just gonna be life. I don't think they gonna death penalty nobody no more.
However, even a reduced charge.
Yeah, I don't think either. I think he's right about that. I don't think anybody ever gonna get the DP anymore. I don't think ever anybody, because nobody's getting the medicine. They won't sell the medicine anymore.
Could contest the evidence, arguing that OTF associates acted independently or that Durk's lyrics about violence were artistic expression, not criminal intent. This defense risks failure as courts increasingly permit rap lyrics as evidence. A trend critics argue criminalizes black artistry. A darker possibility is the case expanding into a RICO indictment, adding charges tied to gang activity and additional co-defendants. Such a move would mirror cases like Young Thug's ongoing trial in Atlanta, where prosecutors weaponized lyrics and affiliations to paint a broader conspiracy. For Durk, a RICO charge would prolong proceedings, increase legal costs, and amplify the threat of lifetime incarceration. Durk's current reality is confinement in a federal detention center, denied bail due to perceived flight risk. Prosecutors highlighted his attempt to book international flights to Dubai, Italy, and Switzerland after associates were arrested, framing him as a fugitive threat. Without bail, Durk cannot directly oversee his music empire or OTF brand, forcing reliance on pre-recorded material and proxies. His 2025 album Deep Thoughts, released post-arrest, exemplifies this strategy, a project pieced together via prison phone calls and prior recordings. However, new music will lack promotional tours, viral videos, or industry events, stunting its commercial reach. Financially, the costs are staggering. Legal fees for federal defense attorneys often exceed $1 million, compounded by lost revenue from canceled
That ain't nothing for him, though. $1 million?
Durk's lucrative partnerships
he got that on a bag.
And Cash App may dissolve as companies distance themselves from controversy. Meanwhile, OTF's stability wanes without his leadership, risking internal fractures as affiliates jockey for influence.
Wonder how he got in a wheelchair.
Durk's absence
I
creates
bet
a
he got
vacuum in the drill scene, where his melodic trap anthems once dominated streaming platforms. While he may drop pre-recorded tracks, his inability to engage fans on social media, perform live, or collaborate in studios will erode his relevance.
The beats in the background,
like
hard.
Wallen, who featured Durk on the hit Broadway Girl, and Drake, a frequent studio partner, might avoid public association to protect their brand. Industry relationships painstakingly built over a decade could unravel overnight. Yet incarceration hasn't silenced all artistic
I hope not for him.
Figures like Young Thug and T Grizzly have released music from jail, leveraging loyal fan bases. Durk could follow suit, but his success hinges on maintaining authenticity. If perceived as washed or out of touch, his music risks flopping, a devastating blow for an artist whose 2023 album Almost Healed debuted at #3 on the Billboard 200. Durk's career was built on a foundation of street credibility, with lyrics chronicling Chicago's violence and survival. However, federal charges test this narrative. The Free Smoke movement, led by diehard fans, clashes with critics accusing him of hypocrisy, profiting from street tales while evading accountability. Should Durk accept a plea deal, he risks being labeled a snitch or soft accusations that could alienate his core audience. Conversely, fighting the charges and losing might martyr him in the street, cementing his status as a real one who refused to fold. Federal cases often hinge on cooperation.
Really got nobody to tell him. I mean,
the lower level players
like,
in exchange for testimony. Durk's co-defendants, alleged shooters, and OTF affiliates may flip to avoid life sentences, a scenario that could spawn snitching. Rumors. For instance, if an associate claims Durk directly ordered the hit, his defense would crumble. Such testimony would also inflame street tension, painting Durk as a liability and inviting retaliation against his family or crew. Durk's legacy teeters between two extremes, rap legend or a hard lesson. A conviction would frame him as another artist consumed by the violence he rhymed about, akin to King Von or FBG Duck. An acquittal, however unlikely, could elevate him to survivor status, a symbol of resilience.
Sorry, I got a splinter in my hand, man.
His influence in Chicago's drill scene adds another layer. As the genre's last mainstream torchbearer, his downfall might stifle its national relevance, though rising artists like Lil Zay Osama or C. Honcho could fill the void. Conversely, a prolonged legal saga might mythologize Durk.
I feel like we got no music. We got no good rappers out right now.
Embedding him deeper into hip-hop lore. While the death penalty is theoretically applicable in
not drill rappers
resulting in death, federal executions are rare. Only 16 have occurred since 1988. Durk's lack of prior violent convictions and the case's circumstantial evidence make this outcome improbable. However, its mere possibility shows the trial's gravity, adding psychological weight.
It takes a different niche for drill rap. Like, not everybody's gonna listen to that. I feel like less people listen to drill rap than regular.
Confronts a juncture where legal, cultural, and personal stakes collide. A plea deal offers survival at the cost of reputation. A trial gambles freedom for legacy, and the specter of RICO expansion threatens to engulf his entire.
That's gonna do it for us today, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Thinking about staying around? We're here every day. I upload every day. Turn and post notifications on. If that little bell has a line through it, you got to push it. Get that line off the bell. We ain't cracking no Liberty Bell. Peace!